Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to part 1 of the 5th 2021-2022 update from GavsWeatherVids. So here we go again, we're going to bring you another winter update in 2 parts. We're up to update number 5 now. And yeah, it's amazing, incredible. We're going to be looking at things like Eurasian snow cover. We're going to be looking at sea surface temperature knowledge, what's going on with ENSO. Got news on the QBO, the quasi-binary oscillation. I have lots on the stratosphere as well later on in the video. So hang around and yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic and I hope you enjoy it. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Of course, all these winter updates are building up to the winter forecast. Are going to be released on Thursday, the 2nd of December. So yeah, each one of these updates, you know, is important unto itself, but also there's the wider concern, which is winter forecast, and each one of these forensically is helping to build up the picture, you know, for the forecast. So so each update is as important as each other, if you like. Right, so I shall get on with part 1 of the 5th winter update for you in a moment. The first thing you're going to see, it will be the swingometer, so you'll see how after 4 updates, the swingometer has moved, and, you know, whether we're still favouring a colder than average winter, or whether we've had a movement to a milder than average winter, you know, you'll find out very, very shortly, because that's the first thing we'll check out. Just say thank you so much to Rich for the fantastic winter updates gear. Thanks so much, Rich. I love this year's winter updates gear. Thank you so much, my friend. Also, thank you so much to Shryan, who has helped no ends with this update. So when we get to parts that Shryan has helped with, I will let everybody know. Of course I will, what Shryan has done. We've also got, you know, some data from Rich as well in terms of the solar cycle and the swingometer. So it's a team effort, it's a joint effort. To GavsWeatherVids all of the time. Thank you so much to Richard, and thank you so much to Shryan for the help on this update. Part 2 tomorrow will be the analog side of this update, by the way, so that'll be coming up for you, of course, at 6 PM. Tomorrow. It's going to be live streamed from 6 PM this evening, so I'm sure you'll have questions about this winter update, part 1 of the 5th winter update. So, you know, let me know in the live stream if there's anything you'd like to have answered. And also, I'm going to say that 7 AM broadcast was released earlier on. Right, I think that's pretty much it. So the first thing we're going to do for you right now is show you the swingometer. So here we go. I'm going to have to turn my webcam off of this. Here we go. Here we go. So let's count this down, shall we? So, 3, 2, 1. This is it. Let's have a look. There we go, the swingometer is favouring neither a colder or a milder than average winter. In fact, we are finely balanced at 50-50. We're 50-50 between mild and cold after 4 updates. That is, however, a further swing from cold to mild. So when we looked at this for the first time, we had, you know, quite a significant swing or had quite a significant favourability for cold winter. When we looked at this with the 3rd update, we had a swing from update number 3 to update number 4 from cold to mild, but it kept us favouring cold and average winter. We had a further swing now from cold to mild, and so we are now 50-50. We are finely balanced between cold and mild after 4 winter updates. Of course, you'll find out next week how this 5th winter update affects the swingometer. Will we swing back into cold, or will we swing further away and start favouring a milder than average winter with our winter updates? You will find out next week. But at the moment, after 4 updates, we are very, very finely balanced at 50-50 between cold and mild. Thank you so much to Rich. Thank you so much to Richard for that fantastic, absolutely amazing and incredible swingometer. I love it. How funny. Thank you so much, Rich, for that. Right. Okay, let's turn off the webcam then, and we will commence the 5th winter 2021-2022 update. Here we go. Right, so we're going to begin this one with Eurasian snow cover. So this is how things are looking in terms of Eurasian snow cover when we did last week's fourth winter update. So we did have some snow. We worked out, going back through the archives to 1998, we worked out that we was, very much in the middle of the pack, really, in terms of snow cover up to the 24th of September. We was behind some years, we was ahead of some years, and we was equal to other years. So we was about, in the middle of the pack when we did last week's update in terms of Eurasian snow cover. Let's compare that to the latest then. So this is it as of the 1st of October. That's how things are looking in terms of Eurasian snow cover. And yeah, there we go. So there has been quite a significant increase in snow cover over the past week up to the 1st of October. Across those eastern parts of Siberia, going back to last week and then forwards to right now, you can see that very clearly there has been a significant increase over there in eastern parts of Siberia. So let's start shutting that down. And so we compare back now to all years back to 1998 through the NOAA archive and see how we're doing. Let's have a look then. This is how we compare to the 1st of October in 2020, and quite clearly we have more snow cover this year compared to the same point, 1st of October in 2020. That's 2019. What do you think about 2019? I reckon we're probably quite even to 2019, maybe even a little bit ahead of it. Notice we have got significantly more Arctic sea ice, by the way, this year, there it is, compared to 2019. I think we're quite closely matched to 2019. That's 2018, we're ahead of 2019 for Eurasian snow cover, quite clearly ahead. That is 2017. What do you think about that one? I think it might be a little bit behind 2017, although the areas that are covered are slightly different. So actually, in total coverage, there might not be all that much in it, but I think we probably are a little bit behind 2017. That's 2016. We're quite clearly behind 2016 in terms of Eurasian snow cover. That's 2015, and we're ahead of, we're ahead, there we go, ahead of 2015 this year, so doing better than 2015. So cover up to the 1st of October. That's 2014. I reckon we're a little bit behind 2014, probably. That's 2013. I think we may also be a little bit behind 2013 as well for snow cover. That is 2012. What do you think about that one? I think we're ahead of 2012. That's 2011. We're also ahead of 2011 for Eurasian snow cover. That is 2010. What do you think about 2010 then, everyone? We're probably not all that far away from 2010, actually, although the areas of the cover that are slightly different. But I think, in percentage terms, in total coverage terms, we're probably quite evenly matched, actually, to 2010. That's 2009. We are significantly ahead of 2009 up to this point. 2019 had 2009, I should say, had a very interesting season for snow cover, in that it was really slow for Siberia, but it did get going very early for Scandinavia. So that is a year, 2009, that did things rather differently. And of course, at the moment, we're focusing on Siberia because it's still so early, but in a couple of weeks' time we will also start focusing on Scandinavia, see how we're doing for Scandinavian snow cover, because that's a significantly important area as well, possibly more important than Siberia actually for us in the UK, because we are governed more by the Scandinavian high if it gets going than the Siberian high. Of course, Scandinavian high is often an extension of the Siberian high anyway. Right, okay, so 2009, we're significantly ahead of 2009. That's 2008. We're also significantly ahead of 2008. That is 2007. Yep, we're ahead of that one too. That's 2006, and clearly we're significantly ahead of 2006 as well. So very similar to last week, actually. We are very much in the middle of the pack. We're behind some years, we're ahead of other years. That's 2005. Of course, you did notice last week, but I forgot to show you 2005. So that's a little bit of a mistake. But here it is in all its glory, and you can see that we are actually quite significantly ahead of 2005 as of the 1st of October for Siberian and Eurasian snow cover. That's 2004. We're ahead of 2004 as well. We're also ahead of 2003. So we're not doing too badly compared to that one. And 2002, we're behind 2002. 2002 had a very, very rapid advance of snow cover across Siberia. And it was already getting going up to, as of the 1st October, up to 1st October, it was already getting going. So we're behind that year. That is 2001. We're probably quite closely matched to 2001, but the areas that are covered are slightly different. But I reckon we're pretty close to 2001 in percentage terms. That is 2000. Again, we're probably not all that far away from 2000 either. That is 1999. What do you think about that one, everyone? I reckon we're probably quite close to that, maybe a little bit behind it. And then finally, we've got 1998. And we're probably a little bit behind 1998 for total snow cover this year. So, yeah, we're doing okay. We're doing okay for snow cover at the moment. We're ahead of some years. We're behind other years. Of course, the reason we look at this is that you have a rapid build-up and advance of snow cover across Siberia. It does teleconnect back to a strengthened Siberian high. And, of course, as I say, the Scandinavian high can sometimes be like an extension of the Siberian high if it goes in that direction. Sometimes we can get a genuine Siberian high moving down a little bit like that. But remember, other times the Siberian high can go that way and push down into Canada. That's what we had in 2013, 2014, which was a brutally cold winter, especially Northern America. But the upshot of that, for us, is actually to blow up the jet stream and give us cyclogenesis through that winter. So a Siberian high, a strengthened Siberian high, is not a guarantee of a cold winter. So that is why this, we look at this. But if we do get that rapid advance of snow cover across Siberia, it's not by any means a guarantee that we'll get a cold winter out of it. It could actually work against us if we have a scenario like 2014. Scandinavia, as I said, is also a very important place to focus on, and we'll start looking, as well as Siberia, start looking at Scandinavian snow cover in the next week or two. Okay, so I reckon at that point we will pause the video and you go off. We'll come back. You go off and stretch your legs, digest what you've just seen, maybe, and then come back and watch the rest of the video. So I'm going to pause it there, and I shall see you in around 2 seconds' time. When we resume, we're going to resume with solar activity and much, much more. So I shall see you then. See you in around 2 seconds. Okay, we're back, and we're ready to resume part 1 for 5th 2021-2022 update from GavsWeatherVids. So I hope you've enjoyed it so far. We've seen the swingometer, how the swingometer is looking after 4 winter updates, as well as going through all the Eurasian snow cover charts right way back to 1998. Next week, I promise we will have a look right way back to 1960s, if I can get the charts together. So we'll start looking at Eurasian snow cover all the way back into the 1960s next week. Right, we're going to resume part 1 of the 5th winter update right now. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. If you do give us a sub, you're going to be able to see future weather content, including future winter updates, by the way. Okay, so next we're going to look at solar activity. So this is how the solar disk is looking on our side of this day from solarham.net. We have got 2 significant sunspot regions, one there and also one down here. Despite that, however, solar activity is at very low levels, and Solarham is reporting that although there will be more sunspots in the next couple of days, solar activity is expected to remain at low or very low levels for the next 3 days. This is the GavsWeatherVids Winter Update Solar Activity Tracker, updated by our good friend Shryan. Shryan Bruin has updated this. Thank you so much, Shryan, for updating our solar tracker up to the 2nd of October. So you see that solar activity is increasing quite clearly. So the thick green and thick red lines are our trend lines, and the orange line with the orange spots is depicting each individual day's worth of sunspot activity. So you can see, but we did get a couple of days like of spotlessness earlier on, a couple of weeks ago in September. Overall, September has been an active month. Find out how active in a moment. September has been an active month for solar activity. We're currently here So, I mean, we're not as high as we was like a week ago when we was up there, but nevertheless, we are in a more active phase of solar activity, as you'd expect, really, given that we are going into the end of the second year of solar cycle number 25. Clearly, the trend lines, which, as I say, are the red line, which is 7-day average, which will move around a lot, but red line is 7-day average of a green line, which is 30-day average. That won't move around as much, but that is also lifting up. So both trends are lifting, telling us that solar activity is increasing. Right, so this is comparing solar cycle 25 with the last solar cycle, number 24, you know, for monthly sunspots up to September. So September for the monthly sunspot number is just there, and you can see that that is the highest that we've been since back in 2016. Actually, back since was back here. So yeah, we have seen a very, very significant increase in solar activity actually over the past 2 or 3 months. So a couple of months ago, we was around here. Of course, we was sort of on a par with where we was, I suppose, back in 2017, 2018. But now we're on a par with where we was back in 2016, because that's a declining phase of the solar cycle compared to the beginning of solar cycle 24. You can see that for this part of the solar cycle, we're now actually a little bit ahead of solar cycle 24. So at this point in the solar cycle is around here for solar cycle number 24 with our monthly sunspot numbers. So it took us until there, really, to go up, which is like into the spring of 2011. So we're now comparable with like the spring of 2011. Or we're somewhere between sort of mid to late 2010 and spring 2011, I suppose. Quite a significant increase in sunspot numbers over the past month, definitely. Thank you so much to Shrine for the data, of course. Right, who am I today? Oh, wow. It's Gav Superman. Or is it Superman Gav, maybe? I think it could be Superman Gav. Thank you so much, Rich, for turning me into Superman. Wow, wow, wow. Right, okay, so this is showing me spotless days and also the current spotless stretch. So we can see that we have had the current spotless stretch is 0 days, given that we did have sunspots yesterday. For 2021 so far, we've had 59 days without sunspots. That's 21% of the year. So, very interesting. Excuse me, very, very interesting what's happening with this solar cycle. So actually, in terms of a percentage, 2021 is weaker than 2010, which is the comparable year, solar cycle 24 to solar cycle 25. We are actually weaker, you know, for spotless days. We have had more spotless days, higher percentage this year than we did in 2010. But now we are ramping up a little bit more than we did later in 2010 with total sunspots. So we may, we may in the end come away with more sunspots than we had in 2010. But at the same time, you know, we may also have more spotless days than we had in 2010. So every cycle is different. You know, every solar cycle is different and unique. And this is, although there have been comparisons, you know, and it's a little bit comparable to the last solar cycle 24, it is also doing things its own way as well, as we can see from the data here. And we should wait and see, of course, how solar activity continues to develop over the next few weeks. Even if solar activity does ramp up very rapidly over the next few months, I reckon, you know, for the coming winter, we will still be governed by the long solar minimum that we've just been through. So there is a time lag, of course, with anything. It's time lag between ramping up, increasing sunspot numbers and solar activity, and the effects that has on the jet stream and whatnot. So I reckon we will still be favouring like a blocking signal for this winter as a leftover legacy from the long solar minimum that we have just been through. But we'll keep an eye, of course, on solar activity. Thank you so much to Shryan, and thank you so much to Rich for the data. Right, this is how the oceans we're looking. We did last week's fourth Winter 2021-2022 update. We've got our 4 areas of interest, of course. We've got the ENSO region just here. We've got the Indian Ocean over there. We've got the Northern Pacific over here, particular focus on the Northeastern Pacific. And we've got the North Atlantic over there. That is how the oceans looked last week, up to 24th of September. Let's have a look at the latest. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Let's have a look, let's have a look, let's have a look. That's it. Right, okay, so ENSO region. First of all, La Nina continues to develop. Yes, we continue to have that signature for La Nina through the ENSO region from Peru, I should say, to Indonesia over here. That always catches me out, doesn't it? Particularly through the central western part of the Equatorial Pacific, interestingly, where, yes, definitely, we've seen a strengthening of the La Nina signal for those cold average sea surface temperature anomalies. But all regions of, you know, the Equatorial Pacific Ocean and the ENSO region are a little bit colder than average, so definitely have a signature for La Nina. Northern Pacific, very interesting. Now, let's go back to last week. Look what's happening in the northeastern Pacific in particular. Last week, look at the latest. Very significant cool down has taken place even in this northeastern part of the Pacific Ocean. That's very, very interesting. I reckon that is response to the developing La Nina. So, of course, what these events are doing, be the La Nina or El Nino, they're either turning the thermostat down for La Nina and cooling things down by the oceans, or they're turning the thermostat up for El Nino and warming things up via the oceans. And the fact that it's like a second-year La Nina, or will be a second-year La Nina, shows that to the south of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean, it's getting colder, and now also in response to the north of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean, it is also getting colder as well. So expect the Pacific generally to just start cooling down. In the Indian Ocean, we still have that signature of the negative IOD, or certainly neutral anyway, possibly it's negative, with cooler just here and warmer over there. So when we have it cooler towards Africa and warmer to Indonesia in the Indian Ocean, that is a signal for either neutral to negative IOD. So that goes on. And then in the North Atlantic, once more, let's go back to last week. That's where we're looking now. That's how things looked in the North Atlantic last week. This is the latest. Very little change. Really, very little change. Generally still warmer than average across most parts of the North Atlantic. Some areas have cooled a little bit through here. That's in response, I think, to Hurricane Sam. So a little bit of cooling has gone on there. Conversely, like to the south of that, though, it's warmed. And also it's warming around the Caribbean and into the Gulf of Mexico as well. So we haven't seen that many sort of hurricanes and storms around the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, southeast United States during September. That could be something that comes back, though, with those warming sea surface temperature anomalies during October. And then in the North Atlantic, again, a few areas of cooling, maybe around the shores of Greenland. It might be cooling a little bit through there. But otherwise, it's still generally quite a warm Atlantic Ocean that we see there. This is the 7-day temperature change in the oceans. So not really much change, to be honest, in the Indian Ocean. The Equatorial Pacific Ocean has warmed up a little bit again towards the eastern part of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean, but conversely, it's cooled down in the central and western areas. I think most notable, though, is what's happened over the past 7 days in the northern and northeastern Pacific. Very, very significant cool down has taken place in the northern and northeastern Pacific, all the way through that area. We have seen a very significant cool down in the northern and northeastern Pacific Ocean over the past 7 days. In the Atlantic, it varies from area to area, so it's cooled down a little bit around the UK and Ireland. It's warmed up a little bit towards Newfoundland, up towards south of Greenland. Some areas are a little bit warmer, some areas a little bit cooler. So not particularly clear trend, I don't think, in terms of what's happened over the past 7 days in the North Atlantic. But even the areas that have cooled, let's go back, in the areas that have cooled by a degree or two over the past 7 days, like to the west of UK and Ireland, because the sea surface temperatures are so very warm in those areas, you know, actually, despite losing a degree or two, it is still significantly warmer than average across most parts of the North Atlantic. So the North Atlantic remains in a pretty warm state at the moment. CFSV2 is forecasting ENSO La Nina to become potentially a strong event. Can you believe it? So where we currently are is around here, I think, around 1 degree below average. By the time we get through to December, this is a very dramatic drop with black dash line. Of course, temperature was on the side and the dates might appear on bottom. By the time we get through to like the end of the year into December, we're down here. We're very close to 2 degrees below average. I think the CFS is overdue. Now, we had this last year, CFS overdue, and it's certainly taking things down to moderate La Nina territory. Could virtually be borderline strong La Nina territory, but I've got a feeling in the end we'll probably pull up short somewhere around there, close to a degree below average. We're very late in the year now for this to be developing, and it would be unusual for this to strengthen as much as that in the final month or two of 2021. So I reckon it's doing what it did last year, which is overdoing the signal. In the end, it will pull up short of that. We'll probably finish up with a weak to maybe borderline moderate La Nina. SOI is looking like this. So an oscillation index, remember, it's just an index that's reflecting. The atmospheric state does not drive anything in its own terms. It tells what the atmosphere is doing. So when the SOI is in its positive phase, and the atmospheric setup in the Southern Ocean will be reflective of La Nina, and it's the reverse when its SOI is negative. Atmospheric setup then will be reflective of El Nino. Okay, let's do it then. So these are our columns for Tahiti and also for Darwin. And then this is the overall SOI number. You can see that over the past week, let's take it from around the 24th of September. So we had a couple of really quite negative days, minus 18, minus 15. So that's setup reflective of El Nino. But by 27th of September, swinging back to positivity again, plus 24. 28th September goes really strongly positive, plus 36.90. So that's very strong in favour, that's what it's reflective of La Nina. 29th of September plus 30, 30th of September plus 18, 1st of September plus 10, and final day, 2nd of October, is going to be plus 13. That is the 1st of October, of course, just there at plus 10. I'm forgetting which month we're in. So yeah, you expect like day-to-day fluctuations. So these negative days here, they're just days that would deviate, do something a little bit different. But overall, the trend is definitely with a positive SOI, which of course is telling us that the atmosphere is coupling with the ocean to produce La Nina. And so the 30-day SOI average is around there, quite strongly positive, somewhere between plus 9 and plus 10. And the orange, yellow, should say, dash line is a 90-day average, and that's just solidly in positive territory as well. Everything is suggesting that La Nina is here, and it's going to continue through to the end of the year. The only question is how strong will the La Nina event get, and I reckon CFS is doing what it did last year and overdoing that. Right, so let's have a look at the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. That's kind of related, of course, to the oceans. There is a connection both to the warm and average sea surface temperature anomalies in the Atlantic and also to the La Nina. When you're in La Nina, you expect to have a stronger, hurricane season, and you have a weak hurricane season when you're in El Nino. Right, we're on the Wikipedia page for this hurricane season. Let's have a look at the scores on the doors. Miss Ford. Here we go then. So for this year and season so far, we've had a total of 20 tropical depressions and also 20 tropical storms. We have had 7 hurricanes. That's a lot, for up to the 1st of October, and 4 major Category 3 or above hurricanes. Again, that is quite a lot. So another above average season, quite clearly. Let's move over to our ACE page. Ryan has been keeping this updated for us. This is accumulated cyclone energy. So with this, the classifications are below normal, near normal, above average, and hyperactive. And this goes all the way back to 1851. So we see that in the year of 1851, we actually have below normal ACE at just 36.24, with only 6 hurricanes, or with only 6 storms, 3 hurricanes, and just 1 major hurricane. That's 1851. Right, let's come down to the latest year then, and we can see that for 2021 so far, so this has been really boosted by Sam. Hurricane Sam, major Hurricane Sam, has been a real ace booster. Incredible. Look at this. So 2021 so far, we are now at 131.50 for accumulated cyclone energy. That is after, as I say, 20 tropical storms, 7 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. So we are already like at 2019, for example, which had a total ACE in that hurricane season of 132.20. And of course, we're well past 2014 and 2015. We're not all that far from 2016. Neither are we all that far from 2018 either. I mean, this is just absolutely incredible what we've seen over the past few days from Hurricane Sam. The classification for this season is now officially above normal. Look at that, we've gone into the yellow there. I mean, it's undoubted that we're going to go hyperactive by the end of this season. We'll go into the red. Last one of those we had was last year when we was at 180.37 for our total ACE number. How we compare to last year? So at this point last year, you know, for 2020, as of 26th of September, we was at 8.40 up to that point, and also we're well above the running average, so well above that, and we're well above the running average as well at 84.60. That would be like where we'd expect to be up to the beginning of October for ACE. So this is a massive hurricane season. I suspect it will continue, given the sea surface temperature and the developing La Nina. I reckon this hurricane season will carry on into October, possibly beyond, into November too. And I think we'll be hyperactive by the end of all of this. I'm sure we will. The only question is how much will we be hyperactive? You know, could this be the biggest hurricane season we've ever had? Or you know, we'll find out. We'll find out. We'll keep an eye on it anyway, definitely. Thanks so much, Ryan, for that. Right, thanks so much, Ryan. And to Rich as well. Right, I'm going to pause the video there. And when we come back, we're going to start going through some stratosphere data. And at the end of this, you are going to see something you've never seen before. I'll tell you about it after the break. But you stretch your legs, and I shall see you in a second. See you very soon. Okay, we're back and we're ready to resume the final part of part 1 of the first winter 2021-2022 update. No! I've got it wrong again! Let's do it again! Hello, we're back and we're ready to resume part 1. No, we're ready to resume the final part of the 5th. Part 1 of the 5th winter 2021-2022 update. I can't get my head around it. All of these different parts and parts within parts. I can't get my head around. I'm so sorry, everybody. It's terrible. Right, you know what we're doing. You know where we are. It's the 5th winter update part 1, and we're in the final section of it. Right, okay, so we're going to start showing you some stratosphere data in about the end of this video. Excuse me, at the end of this video, you are going to see stratospheric reanalysis for before and during the daddy of cold winters, 1962-1963. It's something that I've never shown before. You're going to see that in a second. But, before we get on with all of that, let's just have a look at the QBO, the quasi-band oscillation. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button and make sure you're subbed to the channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, let's bring you up to date with the QBO. Then, so this how the quasi-band oscillation is correct looking. This is from NASA, so you have to think of this, that these are the levels of the atmosphere just here. This is 10 HPA of the stratosphere. This, 30 to 50 HPA, is the boundary level of the atmosphere that we call the troposphere. This green-blue area just here is the easterly QBO in descending phase. We are now in the easterly QBO phase. If you zoom in, you can see that that green-blue area is getting ever darker and deeper and more intense, telling us that the easterly QBO is strengthening and clearly has moved down into the troposphere. We actually have a QBO number in for September now from NOAA. So this is the QBO page at NOAA, showing every month's worth of QBO back into the 1950s. Let's come down to 2021. We can see that, yes, the ECQBO has continued. So the ECQBO started in June. There it is, just there, or started in June. Was it in June? So let's just refresh that, shall we? There we go. Right, okay, sorry about that. Yes, so the ECQBO started in June at -6.93, and then in July we we strengthened it to -13.17. In August we strengthened it again to -13.82, a very slight strengthening, and since we had a further strengthening of the ECQBO, we are now at -16.56. We are in a strong easterly QBO phase right now. We can expect this to start impacting the troposphere anytime. There will be a time lag on shifting from one QBO phase, like westerly to the east QBO phase. There will be a time lag on that affecting the atmosphere. But I reckon that now, the effects of this ECQBO will start being felt any time from now onwards, given that we've been in this ECQBO now for 4 months. It'll be the 5th month of it, and this is a strong ECQBO as well at -16.56. So from an ECQBO perspective, everything is in place to suggest that this is going to be a strong ECQBO winter. It's going to carry on, into the end of the year and on into the beginning of 2022. And yes, this will be an easterly QBO winter, and will be a strong easterly QBO winter as well. Articulation observed and forecasting like this. So black line shows where we've been with the AO, red lines at the end, with GFS on sols, forecasting AO to go. Remember, if you're in a negative AO, you've got blocking over the atmosphere. If you're in a positive AO, you've got low pressure over the Arctic. So current position is that we are around neutral to weak negative with the AO GFS samples forecast. We will stay neutral to weak negative with the Arctic oscillation through to the middle of October. So blocking signals will persist. The NAO is very negative at the moment. It's down here. Again, this is just reflecting atmospheric state, measuring air pressures between Iceland and the Azores. So we're currently very negative with the NAO. GFS on samples are forecasting that whilst we're not going to be as negative as we are right now through the first half of October, we will still be either neutral to weakly negative. So both indexes are in a state that is neutral or negative, telling us that the outside setup and pattern, going to the middle of October is a little bit away from the normal. Right, okay, so I want to go here, I think, with tabs. Right, this is how the temperature is looking at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over the North Pole. This is from the JMA. The grey line is the trend line. Black line is the current temperature for 2021 to 2022. Right now, we're very close to average with temperature at 10 HPA. Maybe a little bit below, but not a particularly big deviation, only 1 or 2 degrees in it. So we're very close to where you expect the temperature to be in this cooling phase of the year at 10 HPA of stratosphere. If we go a little bit low down to 30 HPA, we can see that, again, we are very, very close to average with the temperature at 30 HPA. That's closer to the troposphere. Despite that, zone of winds have actually continue to be a little bit stronger than average. So this is from the ECM WF, showing that currently zone of winds are around there. Red line is the trend for this time of year. And so, yeah, we are definitely a little bit stronger than average. But still, we see that, of course, got our dates just here. This takes all the way to the middle of November. And we can see that we are forecasting from around the middle of October onwards, the ECM is, that the zone of winds will weaken the polar. So this is like a reflection of the polar vortex, strength of the polar vortex, if you like. So if the zone of winds are weakening, then the polar vortex will almost certainly be weakening too. And so as we go through October and into November, we see that the zone of winds weaken, decelerate, don't reverse, except with a few ensemble members which are down here. But yeah, definitely like a weakening of zone winds, which is through October into November, which is quite unusual for that to happen. That doesn't happen very often. Normally at this time of year, zone winds get stronger and stronger as the polar vortex powers up through to the end of the year. This is the latest temperature forecast for 10 HPA from the ECM extended model. So at the moment, the temperatures at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over the North Pole look like that, around average. A little bit warmer, though, you notice, over towards Siberia. But, you know, we're very close to average temperature normally at the moment. Go through to week 2, which is the 11th to the 18th of October. Look at this, we get a warming. So this is occurring, this warming here, around the Pacific side of the Arctic and towards Canada, that is occurring at the same time as we get the deceleration of zone of winds that we saw a moment ago, around the middle of October. So definitely like some sort of stratospheric warming, probably not some stratospheric warming, but some sort of stratospheric warming event is taking place there, which again is quite unusual. It's very unusual for that to happen in October. And that strengthens further as we go through to week 3, which is the 18th, 25th of October. Again, this is when zone winds are decelerating. So yeah, at this point, like on the temperature scale, we're around 6 to 8 degrees above average, I think. So that's a very significant warming of stratosphere that's taking place around Canada and moving in towards the North Pole at around the 3rd week of October. That pushes more towards Canada as we get through into week 4, which is 25th of October to 1st of November, weakens slightly. It's still there but fading as we get into the beginning of November. But of course, at this point, it has weakened the zone of winds and possibly promoted a little bit of a blocking signal. And then, very interesting, by week 6, which is the 8th to 15th of November, we're seeing signs of a warming then over Siberia. And that's very early for that as well. Remember, normally stratospheric and southern stratospheric warmings happen later on in the winter. It's very early to be seeing all of this so early on in the winter. So, yeah, from a stratosphere perspective, this looks very, very interesting, I have to say, what we're seeing here. Quite unusual and very interesting as we go into the early part of the or end of the autumn into early winter. Now, for years and years and years and years, the last thing I want to finish up with for this update, how long have we been talking for? So we've been talking 40 minutes. It's going to be a long one. But I wanted to show you because for years and years and years and years, there have been rumours about winter of 62, 63, the daddy of cold winters, and whether it contained a very rare and unusual southern stratospheric warming over Canada in November. We'll just have a look at that because we can now see that at meteociela.fr from reanalysis from ECM. So this is the stratospheric temperature on the 1st of 10 HPA in the North Pole, over North Pole and Arctic, on the 1st of November 1962. Got those blue colours in there indicating a cold stratosphere. We're going 5 daily steps, I think. So this is the 5th of November 1962. Again, looking quite cold there. 10th of November 1962 looks like that. So there's a little bit of a warming over Siberia, quite modest though. Otherwise, quite a cold stratospheric temperature actually on the 10th of November 1962. What about the 15th of November 1962? Let's have a look. Well, there is a warming that's taking place here towards Siberia and trying to push in towards the Canadian Arctic, but otherwise, actually, still rather on the cold side with those stratospheric temperatures. Probably about average to a little bit on the cold side. Go through to the 20th of November 1962. How does it look? Yes, there's a little bit of a warming there trying to get in towards Canada, but generally I can't see much sign, to be honest, of a major warming of the stratosphere in November 1962. This is the 25th of November 1962. Again, you see mostly it's blue colours. There's not much sign, I have to say, on this reanalysis anyway, not much sign of a major warming of the stratosphere over Canada during November. 30th of November 1962 is lifting things up a little bit more over Siberia, but see, all the time through November 1962, generally those blue colours are in there over Canada and over the North Pole. I suppose it's like a pale, we've got pale blue colours, which are probably a little bit above average. So maybe there was some sort of warming that occurred. So that's like the 15th of November 1962. It's the 20th of November 1962. So you see that over time, perhaps the blue colours are not quite as dark. So temperature perhaps does lift up by a few degrees over Canada during November 1962, especially later on in the month, maybe. But I would not say that's like a stratospheric warming. Certainly not a southern stratospheric warming that we had there in November 1962. So from this reanalysis, I don't know how reliable it is, but from this reanalysis, I can't see much sign of a warming of the stratosphere, to be honest, in November 1962. And that has always been a long-standing rumour. Into December of 1962, we can see that, yes, we keep those relatively cold temperatures in the stratosphere. In fact, they get really very cold during December over here towards the Eurasian side of the Arctic, going down to around -80 in some areas. Through to the 15th of December 1962, again, pretty cold stratosphere, trying to warm up a little bit over Siberia, but generally a cold stratosphere there through to 20th of December, 23rd of December. Again, quite cold with a stratospheric temperature. So December 1962 is generally has a cold stratospheric temperature over the Arctic, over North Pole. That's Christmas Day. So at this point, the daddy of cold winters was kicking off across the UK and Northern Europe. The blocking was really intensifying. Things were becoming much, much colder from this point onwards. From a stratosphere point of view, there's no reason that happens. So the stratospheric temperature is not the be-all and end-all by any means. It's not the be-all and end-all by any means for a cold winter, and 62 is a great example of that, because at this point, by New Year, this is New Year's Eve, 1962, when you see there is a warming going on over America, and also there's a little bit of one over Siberia, but still generally over North Pole, quite cold with the stratospheric temperature. But by this point, the severe winter was well and truly entrenched across the UK and across Northern Europe as well. I'll just take you through into January, so you can see what happens. So this is the beginning of January 1963. Again, still generally quite cold. No, we've got to there. Let's go to that. Okay, so this is January 1963. Generally still quite cold over the North Pole, but you notice warming up on either side of the pole. Very interesting. And what happens through January of 1963 is that a major warming event, stratospheric warming event, does actually start to take place. Up to middle of January 63, though, still generally quite cold over the Arctic with those stratospheric temperatures, warming up a little bit over Siberia. 20th of January, let's have a look at that one. 20th of January 1963. Then we do start to see like a warming over America and also over Canada as well. This is 23rd of January 1963. Look at that. There is a major warming of the stratosphere that takes place in winter of 62-63 over Canada. It's an unusual place, Canada, to get a sudden stratospheric warming. And it does happen, but it's not November, it's January. There it is on the 23rd of January, 1963. Major warming of the stratosphere, sun stratospheric warming taking place over Canada, which is unusual. And that intensifies further, splits the polar vortex on the 25th of January, 63. We've got a split of polar vortex via that sun stratospheric warming over Canada. So the winter of 62-63 does contain a major southern stratospheric warming over Canada, a major Canadian warming, but according to this, it happens in January of 1963, not November. And of course, that cannot explain the winter in its own terms. It probably explains the later part of winter, but it can't explain the fact that the winter actually begins in December. We have a relatively cold stratosphere, so it does. It's interesting, and it definitely helps to keep the prolonged severe cold winter going. I'm sure it does through February and on into March, but it does not explain how the winter starts in December and, early January, when we have relatively cold stratospheric temperatures. We do have, in that period, still masses of northern blocking and brutally cold weather. Anyway, that's it. That is how the winter of 62-63 looks. Daddy of cold winters looks from a stratospheric temperature. This is February, where we keep those warm stratospheric temperatures going as well. So that's how it looks. Winter of 62-63 looks like that from a stratospheric temperature perspective. Hope you enjoyed that. Right, just to tell you what's coming up for part 2 of this 5th winter update. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at September temperature data, CET data. It's been a very warm September, of course, and we'll see what winters are like following very warm Septembers in part 2 of this 5th winter 2021-2022 update. And that will be tomorrow. Wow, wow, wow. What an epic. This has been 48 minutes. They're getting longer, everyone. The winter updates are getting longer. But I wanted to include, it's something I've never shown before, I've never been able to. You know, only recently those charts came up on MetroSeal, so I wanted to include those in the winter update, and I thought, why not do it this week? If you enjoyed that, then please let me know in the comments, smash that like button as well if you enjoy that little review of the daddy of cold winters from a stratosphere temperature perspective. Okay, we're done. So I'm going to stop the video there because I've gone on for far too long. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking with part 1 of the 5th 2021-2022 update. And, yeah, I'll see you later on for our live stream. Don't forget part 2 coming up tomorrow. For this one, though, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.